The youth in our community are crying out in so many different ways. How can we help them? Stay tuned and find out right after this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AFG's Point of View, where I give you my analysis on the most popular topics in the world today. Today's video, we have the state of our youth in 2025. Before I dive into the details of the video, if you're new here, welcome. Welcome to AFG's Point of View. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as well. Bring more awesome, loving, and wonderful people over, similar to yourself. I'm my normal subscribers. Thanks for coming back. All right, so this video, as I let you guys know in the past video, it's going to be a very long video. I would appreciate if you guys can kind of chime in and give me some of your suggestions of what you think that we need to do for the youth in today's society. With social media running rampant and everything seems to be so instant right away online, they're kind of crying out for so many different things. And when things don't work the way they want it to work, they tend to lash out, tend to hurt each other, you know what I'm saying? And, even themselves, just to get some sort of gratification. I've done several videos on young men in my community, not where I live at, but in my particular community, the black community, where a lot of young men are reaching out and doing all kinds of wrong things. Okay, they're reaching out to all the wrong people. They're asking for all the wrong things. And when they do receive some sort of help, or when someone reaches out to help them, they lash out in a way where they let them know, hey, I don't need your help. I don't want your help. Get out of here. You know what I mean? So, in this video, what I'm going to do is basically talk about some of the pitfalls and some of the things that's going on in today's, society and, ways that we can actually help the youth and bring them along into a better place and hopefully salvage their future. Okay? I want to see them make it to my age. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of them dying in their early 20s, their teens, their early 20s. You're lucky if you get to your 30s, but it seems like once you get to your 30s and you think you're out of the woods, and bam, something else happens. You know what I mean? Generally, once you get to your 40s, if you, provided that you're doing all the right things, you kind of could dodge a bullet and, kind of like stay out the way, and I think everything will be all right. But it just all depends on the past. So we have a lot of our youth out here, and they're out here just kind of hanging out with their friends, doing normal things that you and I would have done, or would do, or anyone would do. Not just my community, but all communities. Friends just hanging out, doing their thing, whatever. You know what I mean? It's always that your mom and your dad used to always tell you, there's always that one kid it's the bad batch, right? It's a bad one in the batch. And either he could infiltrate the group and ruin everything within the group, or the group is strong enough to where they could choke him out and have him doing what they know they should be doing. Now, it just seems to me that one kid seems to get in the group, and then no one wants to go against the grain. No one wants to be corny. No one wants to be looked at in a kind of way like a goody two-shoes. So they follow suit. They follow suit in a way where they jump out there and just do the weirdest things. Like some of these things that these kids is doing these days, Like as far as, for instance, I know it's video games out here, right? GTA, that comes to mind. So in GTA, you can do whatever you want to do and however you want to do it. Drive around, run people over, kill people, shoot people, stab people, rape girls, have sex with girls, be with prostitutes, carjack people, all kinds of stuff, right? So these kids play these games, and they're thinking life is nothing but a game anyway. I can go do it in real life and get away with it. Not so easy. So you tend to get caught up, get in the mix, and then they get themselves in trouble. Now they out here doing all kinds of random things, because now they in trouble, and then they getting beat up, beat down by their family members, maybe teachers. A lot of adults come down on them hard, and then now they're looking like, yo, everywhere I turn, somebody's screaming and hollering at me. I'm gonna go back to my friends. I'm gonna go hang out with them. They're the only ones that understand, yada, 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 and they do what they gotta do, right? Well, in turn, they doing that. They turn and do some more stuff. They do something else they ain't supposed to be doing. Then something else, then something else, then something else. And it just becomes, now, it's a chain reaction as to everything that you're doing and starting to really, really, really deteriorate your chances of becoming a productive member of society. Now it seems like you need to go away and you need to get rehabilitation for some of the actions that you displayed over the past months, years, or whatever the case may be. And I mean, like I said, I read the stories, I tell the story as it is, you know what I'm saying? And, I try not to beat the youth up, because I totally understand, because I was young before. I went out here, I did this, I did that, but I didn't do the stuff that they did, like the stuff they're doing now. Like, riddle me this. You carjack a car. Carjack them at gunpoint. You driving around. How long is that ride going to be for? Do you have a place where you need to be in? You know what I'm saying? Where are we going? What are we doing? Okay? Now we're just joyriding all over the freaking city. Okay? And now we end up crashing the car. Why we end up crashing the car? Because someone called the car out stolen. The cops saw us. Oh, snap. Cops is coming. Now we speedballing all over the place. Bang out into a tree. Wherever we crash or whatever. Park cars or whatever the case may be, and get out and just decide to run. Right? Spread out. You know what I mean? Now they got a description on you. Now, you trying to get away. It doesn't always work out like that. They just had some kids that they went up to, was it Upper Dublin? I think it was Upper Dublin, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though, but I mean, it was somewhere out there, Egypt Road or whatever, right? I forget the name of that township. At any rate, these kids are stealing cars from out there. Why are they stealing cars from out there? Because they feel like it's easy to steal cars from out there. A lot of those people that live out in the suburbs, in the surrounding counties where the city is. If you live like right outside the city, and I kind of feel like you still kind of like in the city, so it's almost like mentally you still kind of like, all right, I gotta do what I gotta do. When you that far from the city, like you like literally like 20, 30, 40 minutes away from the city, it's like I ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm cool. I ain't gotta deal with these knuckleheads, so we good over here. But those are the places they're going. Okay, you end up going over there. They end up stealing your car. They end up breaking in your house. They end up smashing all your stuff up. Okay, and that's just because they just want to have fun. That's fun to them. See, fun to us was chasing the girls. Okay, and I totally don't understand why you just can't chase the girls. And then once you catch the girl, you know what I'm saying, you get a number or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and, you do whatever you do as the days went on or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That was our way of saying, I like this chick. This is the one I want. You know what I mean? And you went from there. But nowadays, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? So, everything is an instant. It's right there in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So, they're stealing cars. They're out here doing what they're doing. They want what they want. They do what they do. Now, my question for you guys is this. Where's the fun at in stealing a car? Excuse me. Where's the fun at in stealing a car? I don't understand where the fun is at. I'm stealing a car. I stop. I get caught by the cops and I'm going to prison. I mean, it's almost to the point like it's a dumbass crime. It's just a dumb crime. It's not like I can steal some money and then go spend it in boxes I already wanted. And then maybe, down the line, I lay low and then I'll do it again. I'll lay low and I'll do it again. Like, stealing a car is like, you're not going to be able to keep that car. The way you stole it, now the way you stole it is unproductive because now you can't even, like you beat it up so bad, you can't even take it to a chop shop as we used to do back, well not us, I never did that, but that's what our youth used to do. They take it to a chop shop. It was a chop shop in our neighborhood. They take them down there, take the car in there, take all the parts or whatever from the car and then, get rid of the other stuff and keep it moving. That's the reason why they would steal a car. Nowadays, they just stealing cars just because they want to steal a car. You know what I'm saying? I heard I was talking to a police officer and he was basically saying that it was a lady that had access to all this money. And she was well off, she was getting paid and everything was cool, right? She didn't need the money. But she decided she wanted to take the money. So we're thinking, well, damn, why would you take the money? Did you need the money? Her response was, no, I didn't need the money. I mean, I had access to it, so might as well steal it, right? No, that's not what you might as well do. You know what I mean? So it's just in the minds of people, idle minds. You know what I'm saying? As a person that does not have an objective of what they want to do in life. They just going through the motions. They just, whatever the first thing pops up, they just do that. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a goal. You know what I'm saying? Set a goal for yourself. Like if you don't want to go to college, start your own business. If you're going to start your own business, get yourself a couple classes under your belt. Figure out how businesses run, okay? Then emulate a company that you see, that you like a lot, and just emulate what they just did. You know what I'm saying? You may even be able to reach out to that person and be like, yo, bro, yo, sis, what about this? What about that? How about this? How about that? You know what I'm saying? And then, maybe you may get a chance or opportunity to, get where you want to get to in life. It may take you a little bit longer, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me ask you this. Would you rather have your own business, okay? And you're a young person, you got your own business popping, you know what I mean? And yearly, you may make $100,000 a year. Or would you just rather be out here in these streets out here stealing and running and robbing and stealing and killing and all that kind of stuff? You know what I'm saying? Now keep in mind, you doing your own thing, making $100,000 a year. Them kids that you know, oh, he corny. He think he better than somebody. He corny. He ain't nothing. He ain't nobody. He ain't this. He ain't that. The hate gonna come with that. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a lot of hate coming out. You know what I'm saying? And when people see you doing stuff, you doing productive things, they just gonna start hating. That's just the general thing in this world. It's just a general thing of how things is going. And, it's just, I just don't understand why they do what they do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not stealing no car. I'm not joyriding. Okay? If I'm going to take a joyride, I'm in my car or one of my homies might have it. Even if I don't have a car, one of my homies got a car. Where you want to go? Let's take a ride. We used to get in the car. We used to ride, crank the music up. That's a joyride. You having fun. You with your folks. You going riding. You going to the mall. What y'all buying from the mall? We ain't buying nothing because we broke. We may have enough to eat, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was when we was back in the day when we was younger. what I'm saying? Like, that's a joyride to me. That's what a joyride looks like. I'm getting joy out of being in that car. Not I'm in that freaking car. I'm riding up and down the street crazy. And just like the other day, I don't know if it was someone stole a car or not, but over in Wilmington, Delaware, a young girl got killed on impact because a guy was riding on the wrong side of the street. He was speeding down the street. He was on the wrong side of the road, for one. He was speeding down the block for like 5, 6 in the morning. It was ridiculous. Like, why are you riding down the street so damn fast? It's like so many people out here. They just want to just be. It's like being evil or being mean or being nasty. It's just a wave. That's just a wave. That's how you rock. Just like, let's get to the kids that's all running around here wearing all black. The Pooh Shiesty hood hat. I mean, they got the Pooh Shiesty mask or whatever. I mean, they wearing this shit in the summertime. I mean, listen, there must be a lot of test tube babies out this motherfucker. Because I'm going to tell you right now, ain't no way in hell. It's 90, 95 degrees. And I'm running around here with all black sweatsuit on, okay? With a Pooh Shiesty mask on, okay? Sunglasses on, a jacket or, a thick jacket or a coat, black coat. I'm like, bro, like, you not hot? Well, he's angry. I see why the fuck you so damn angry. I'd be angry too if I was that damn. If I had on all black, a Pooh Shiesty mask, I'm hot. I'm overheated and I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, take that shit off. Y'all running around here with masks off. See 9/11. COVID-19 messed it up for everybody. Because now everybody running around with a mask on, covering your face. And then it's like, oh, okay, no one can see me, so now I go out here and do what I'm going to do. Well, we know who it is. I mean, most of these kids that do what they do, you already know what they're doing and who they is and what they're doing, okay? The majority of them that's wearing black are not all doing something wrong, right? Because a lot of them just be blending in. They just want to blend in with the rest of the kids so nobody else will bother them. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to wear all black. I want to blend in with the Nike Tech Fleece, the Nike Pooh Shiesty mask, I want to wear the all black Air Force Ones, you know what I'm saying? And I'm on demon time. Okay, you could be on demon time all you want. They're going to mess around and run into the wrong demon, okay? And that demon going to be on more demon time than you is. And they're not wearing all black, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people out here that ain't really putting up with all that. See, they looking at these kids as gang members or whatever, and they doing what they doing, so they like, okay, I see a group of kids coming up with all black on. I already know what it's here for. You know what I'm saying? So whether y'all on some cool stuff, y'all passing out pamphlets for the church, or whatever the case may be, I don't know what y'all doing. But in my mind, in my mindset, what I'm thinking is they up to no good, and it's a shame because only a few of them is out here doing it, right? But then the rest of them blend in with that. You know what I'm saying? So, you take it with a grain of salt, or it is what it is. But it's not like you're going to go out here and harm these kids, do anything wrong, because that's somebody's kid. You know what I mean? They could just be making a fatal mistake where, and there's always the crazy thing is, in these situations like this, it's the one bad kid or a couple bad kids doing what they're doing, and then you can't get them, but you get somebody else. And they be the innocent kid that just blending in, trying to, ride with them, trying to look cool, trying to be funny, ha ha, he. He ended up having like a 3.7 GPA. Got a good job, plays sports, you know what I'm saying? He's a good kid. He's just trying to blend in with these dudes. He got a future, but he wasting his time hanging out with these kids because that's his best friends or whatever, and they just no good. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's unfortunate that kids is out there like that, but, we'll find a solution for them. And I'm definitely going to have, in part 2 of this video, I'm going to lay out some of the solutions that I think that will definitely help out these kids in the long run, okay? Because there's no reason for them to be running around here acting the way they do and acting like, they invincible. The prisons is filled up. These detention centers and these prisons is getting filled the fuck up, all right? And I mean, listen, that's not where you want to be, all right? Maybe you got some homies that's in there, you in prison, you thinking it's all good. It ain't all good, bro. It's not all good. You can't have fun out this joint, man. Like, I will never, ever understand why someone would do something wrong to land themselves in prison voluntarily, okay? Like, if someone messing with you, somebody bothering you, and you on your self-defense John or whatever, and then you end up killing this cat or whatever. You just black out and you just kill this cat, and then you end up in prison. I understand that. That's a well-warranted, sentence, and you bought it. Maybe you shouldn't have killed him, but I understand. I totally understand. So, I mean, you gotta hopefully, maybe you should have control over your temper, but I understand. Because like I said, I got a temper. I understand what these kids is going through. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a record because I was smart enough to know, and I also had people in my corner that put me in the right place. You got your folks. You gotta have people that's gonna be able to tell you the right things. If you get out of line, discipline you, and do whatever they need to do. You know what I'm saying, to get you back on track. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, we just gotta help these kids out in whatever way we can, and I'm going to give you several ways as to how I feel like we can conquer these demons and how we can win our children back in 2025, our young black men, okay? Doing some things with them, because I was an advocate at the time, a youth advocate, and I was able to get through and get to them. You know what I'm saying? Anything after when I was done with them, they knew right from wrong. So in that point, once you know right from wrong, you choose wrong, you chose wrong, now you're going to be wrong. Now wrong won't happen to you. Because don't think because you're doing wrong to somebody else that it ain't going to come back to you. Because what goes around comes around. Always understand that. Always understand that. All right? So stay tuned for part 2. And I'm going to lay out a few things on what I feel like is the best way for us to handle these youth in 2025 and to get our kids back on the right track, okay? If we could save 1 or 2 of them, we did our job. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you that every single one I'm going to come back, because mentally you may not be there. Some kids want to be there, other kids don't want to be there. And if you're not mentally there, well, there's nothing that we can do about that. You're not mentally there. You know what I'm saying? You got to want to get help. You know what I'm saying? So all we can do is lay it out for them and put them in front of it. And if they take it, great. If they don't, then we did our piece. And we just keep praying and hope for the best. You know what I'm saying? So stay tuned for part 2 right after this. So now here we are with part 2 of the video. Basically showing you what you should be doing as a parent, as an educator, as a role model, as a guardian of these youth, and how you can possibly win them back into your good graces and hopefully get them to actually start listening to some of the things that you're teaching them, some of the things that you're showing them, some of the things that you're telling them. And hopefully they can kind of stay out of the way and, do better, because right now they just going down this path where it's just like, I don't know, it's not looking too good for you there, Chief. But going forward, we often forget that children aren't born with a built-in sense of respect, right, for others. So our children need to be taught to be respectful, right? So now think about it. Babies are born having to manipulate the world to get their needs met, and they do this primarily by crying, right? They whine, they cry. This is how they get they can't say, hey, Mom, I need help. No, they're crying. So therefore, that's a mechanism as to get your attention, and this is what's going on. You know what I mean? Now, crying is a natural and appropriate for babies. It is how they communicate that they're hungry or wet or need to be held. That's specifically what the definition of them crying is about, okay, for babies. Now, talking about kids, when they get older, right, it's our job as parents to teach them the respectful ways of getting their needs met, right? So now crying and manipulation and disrespect are certainly not respectful ways that you want to accomplish this, right? You want to try to go about it in a different way. And, someone telling you something or you needing something and you lashing out. Yeah, that's going to get our attention, but Not positive attention. It's going to be negative attention that's coming to you. Now, unfortunately, many kids have not been taught to respect or choose not to be respectful, even though they know better. I'm quite sure you raised them, taught them, the way to do it, and they know better. Okay, they know better. You know what I'm saying? They just choose not to do so. Now, it is common to see children and teens arguing with adults, using foul language, copying the attitude, not using manners, disrespecting those in authority, just to name a few. You know what I'm saying? I've seen this on several occasions, and I'm not too happy about it. I've even had to deal with it. You know what I mean? I was an advocate, like I said many moons ago, and I work with these kids on a daily. I had their respect. They paid attention, and I had their respect. You know what I'm saying? They had to worry about them getting out of line or whatever. They knew what they needed to do. We had a heart-to-heart, a man-to-man. You know what I'm saying? And we did what we needed to do. You know what I'm saying? I talked to him as a man. I said, listen, bro, you know what I'm saying? I love you, but you gotta love yourself, because if I can't be out here doing the goofy stuff, you know what I mean, expecting something, positive to, change in your opinion, right? You want your favorite to, rain down and be positive, not favorable to be negative. You know what I'm saying? You're the most favorite to be the negative one. It's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? Now, in my opinion, YouTube, movies, music, and video games all seem to glorify disrespect, angry, rude way of dealing with others. As a result, we have to work harder as parents to teach our kids to be respectful. It's the bottom line. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that's going to keep them away from doing the right things. It's our job to hone them back in and get them back on track to do what they need to do to basically save themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, now more importantly, many parents have not established a firm culture of accountability in their homes. Part of the problem is that the parents are often busy, making it much harder to respond immediately to our kids. There's a lot of parents out here that make good money. Okay, they're doing real good for themselves, but the kids get totally ignored. They're told to go do whatever they need to do for their own sake. You throw them a couple of hours and just tell them to go. Them decisions that they need to make is not going to be made in a positive light, because these kids definitely are not going to make the right decision. They're going to do what they want to do, not what they have to do. Okay. It's sad, but that's just the world that we live in. Now, it's easier to let that stuff slide when you're tired and worn out from work. You know what I mean? And stress. You got to deal with a boss that may not be on your side. You know what I'm saying? And you got to deal with him coming down on you, and you in turn may come back home talking to the kids, and you may jump down their throats or whatever, and give them a hard time. But I just think that overall, many parents have a hard time looking at their kid in a realistic light. This is the bottom line. It's honest to God truth. And I can't overstate how important it is to be willing to look at your children realistically, noting both their strengths and areas of weakness. Being realistic allows you to see appropriate behavior as it happens and address it, and not make excuses or ignore it. Oh, this is my king. You're a single parent. Most women, they got a son. This is my king. This is the king of the castle. No, he's a kid, okay? You are the mother, and you need to do what you need to do. Some parents feel like they let their kids down by not having a two-parent household, because they may not have seen eye to eye with their, their spouse or the person they, procreated with, and it may not be their fault. It may not be their fault at all. It just may be that the dad that they had, that you was working with, the father figure allegedly, or, the man that you lay down with, per se. The man that you lay down with women. It's just no good. He's just a no good dude. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can handle this. We'll nip all this in the bud. Okay? Yeah, you want to win the kids over, right? Speak their language. Meet them where they at. Wherever they at, that's where you got to meet them. Okay? If you do have a two-parent household, the parents need to play good cop, bad cop. Fill them out. Mom said I can't do this, but dad said I can. Dad said I can't do this, but mom said I can. You see what I'm saying? You know, play the good cop, bad cop situation, and then, you know, kind of like see what's going on. You know what I mean? And then kind of like almost like when you get the one parent on your side. Well, you can get the other one because the one that's not on your side, you know they're going to get back on there anyway. So you ain't worry about that. You know what I'm saying? You just got to just play that part. And then, you know, you find ways of trying to like, you know, navigate through the thickets and let them know that, hey, listen, I know it may not be your favorite thing to do, but this is what you should do. And then you turn back around, the good cop will be like, you know, the bad cop saying that, and then the good cop was like, yeah, you're right. As I'm thinking about it, yeah, your mom is right. Yeah, I think you should do this. This your best bet. And then go from there, you know what I mean? You know, you got to also remember that your child is not your friend. They're not your friend. They're your child. And this is the problem that I see a lot in the hood. A lot of these parents want to treat their kids, you know what I'm saying, like that's their best friend, that's their homies. You see these females on there with their daughters, they out there twerking, doing all kinds of ghetto stuff. It's not your friend, that's your daughter, okay? And you should be raising her as such. She should be respecting you as a mother, as an adult, you know what I'm saying, as a person that's going to guide her in her early years so that when she gets older, then she understands that, hey, listen, I can do what needs to be done, all right, as a woman, all right? You see some kids out here, you know, wow, man, they getting it done, man. I'm proud of this kid. It was raised right. Those are the kids that's raised right. Those are the kids, they understand it. They get it, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, you can't let them get away with whatever they want to do and however they want to do it. No, you got to show them the right way. Show them the right way. They move forward. Everything is all good. All right. Now, what you also got to do is, when these kids get disrespectful, they get out of pocket, you got to check them early and often. Early and often. Get all up in their chest. Let them know it ain't sweet over here because we ain't having it. All right. Take their phone away from them. Take the computer away from them. Take the video game away from them. And they may get all upset and get mad. And ladies, if you got a son that's getting all up in your chest and you got an older brother, you know what I mean, you may not have a man in your life. You got a man in your life, you know, that's the dad, you know, dad need to, you know, handle that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I wouldn't necessarily say you got a boyfriend, you love your boyfriend, you love him to death, but then that's your son. Like, I wouldn't put your boyfriend on there because it's almost to the point, like, that's not family, and it's like, you need someone family that he's going to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, if you got daughters out here acting all crazy, whatever, and you're a father, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, you got a father out here raising his daughters. I mean, this is not real common, but, you know, you got a father raising daughters, and the daughters getting out of line, being disrespectful. Let her older sister, let her younger sister, or somebody older than them and their family, talk to them. Straighten them out. Straighten them all the way out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I go back to what I said before. The third tip is the parent, you know, as a team. You know what I'm saying? Good cop, bad cop. There's always a way that you can just sit down and you can just get through all that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, my job is not to be your friend. My job is to raise you to where you can get to a certain point where, hey, you know what? We're both adults. Now we can be friends. I'm still your dad, but we also good friends, okay? We'll hang out. We'll go to dinner. We'll go to breakfast. We'll go to lunch. We'll go see a movie, you know what I'm saying? We'll go see a play. Whatever the case may be, we'll go to a basketball game, a football game, whatever, you know what I'm saying? We'll do some things as friends would do, you know what I'm saying? And we'll enjoy each other's company, you know what I mean? But you gotta make sure you got that respect. You gotta hone it in. And these kids is getting away with murder out here in the inner cities. Not just the inner cities, it's the suburbs too. It's just a different way of doing it, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, you could do that. Another tip you can use is, teach your kid basic social interaction skills. We all so caught up on this phone. We so stuck on just like on the computer. We seeing anything and everything. We on the computer. We nonstop with it every day, all day, every day. You know what I'm saying? But we don't have no interpersonal skills. You know what I mean? When I walk into a room, hey, good morning, everyone. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how you doing? Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You know what I mean? Little small things like that. Yes, please, thank you. Little things like that. You know what I'm saying? It goes a long way. It goes a long way. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what your friends think. It's about what that adult thinks, okay, as you're walking forward. Because most of the time, your friends can't help you. It's the adults that's in the room that's asking for the respect is the ones that can help you in the long run, okay? You walking around here thinking that your friends can sit and bail you out of trouble? Nah, they're going to get you deeper into trouble. It's those adults, like I said, those family members, those people that's really, really close to you in your life. It's going to get you out of trouble at all costs whenever you need it. But you got to be doing the right things for them to be able to side with you. If you're always doing the wrong thing, trust me, he doing something wrong, leave his ass in there. It don't even matter. I ain't got time for this. That's a headache waiting to come home. No, you just stay right where you at. I'm cool. And they let you out, they just let you out. And that's how some people feel. Now the fifth one I have is just be respectful to your child when you're correcting them. The worst thing you can do to a child, all right, and this goes with anybody, I don't care who it is, okay? As an adult, you can be talking to another adult, all right? The worst thing you can do is talk to somebody and talk to them in a way where they feel disrespected, in a way where, you're reaching out to tell them to do X, Y, and Z, and then you're talking down to them, making them feel that low, you know what I'm saying? That low to the ground. And it's just like, damn, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I thought I was a person. But you said you love me, you know what I'm saying? I thought we was cool, but like talking down to you, and then you just feeling like, well, I'm not listening to you. Why would I listen to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you in the way, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, basically, we all want to be treated as a person that is well loved, well appreciated. We understand that, things are not always going to go according to the way that we want them to go every single time. It may go the way we want it to go a lot of times, but every single time, 100% of 100%, no. You know what I'm saying? You may get 75%, you know what I'm saying? But, you're going to have that 25% where it's a little off, you know what I'm saying? You need to be brought back in, reel yourself back in, you know what I'm saying? And, get checked every once in a while and get us back on track. And we all need that. We all human. You know what I'm saying? We got a human nature. So the nature of a human being is flawed anyway. So, you know what I mean? Now, after you finish disciplining this child, right? What I need you parents to do is set realistic expectations for this child. You can't say, this kid been staying out all night to midnight, every single night. So now you expect him to be back in the house at 7 o'clock. So now you say, well, you gotta be back in the house by 7. Man, ain't nobody gonna be back in the house by 7. All my friends will be out at least till 9 o'clock. Come on, dog, you tripping. So then you can make a deal with them. Listen, all right, well, look, I'll let you stay out on one condition. If you let me know where you at and who you with and what you doing, okay? If you can divulge that information to me, and then I can just slide up on you and see that's what you're really doing, then, I'm just hanging out with my friends. Whatever we doing as friends, we just friends. But, those parents should know, the nature of these kids and what they do and how they do it, you know what I'm saying? So it won't be alarming to the point when you slide up on them, you're just like, well, wait a minute, I didn't know you smoke. I didn't know you did this. I didn't know you did that. So you got to know these kids, kind of like, get to know them a little bit and, get real acquainted with them. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is a key thing. This is one of my This is one, well, it's a few more I got left. I got like about two more left, okay? One, discuss disrespect with your child as calm, okay? When your child is upset and you discussing disrespect, clearly they're not going to listen to you because their mind is shut off of all whatever you got to say, however you want to say it, what you want to say, when you want to say it, and so forth and so on. They're not listening to all that. You know what I'm saying? You got to catch them in a good mood when they laughing, when they joking. You know what I'm saying? Have a conversation with them, and then they may be like, you know what? Hey mom, hey dad, you were right. You never know, you may get one of those. You're right. You know what I'm saying? It's always like, most of the time what I hear is kids that say, man, you don't know what you're talking about. You an old head. You know what I mean? Get out of here, dog. Like, you don't know what we do these days. You know what I'm saying? Well, we all basically do the same things growing up. It ain't that much different, but, well, what do I know? I'm only an adult. I'm only in my 50s or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, gotta know something. I gotta know something, you know what I'm saying? So, just discuss it with them when they calm and everything is cool. And then the last one, don't take your child's behavior personal. Meaning, it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes your kid just acts like you can do everything in your power, okay, to do it the right way. And your child just lashes out. You know what I'm saying? Just decides to do what the child wants to do. There's nothing you can do about it. It's really nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is what you know how to do, okay? You're going to sit there and you're going to say, hey, you know what? I feel like I failed my child because your dad isn't around. Me and the dad used to always argue and fight. Dad got up and left, did his own thing, and now it's me and the son. And now me and the son is not, or me and the son and daughter, either or whatever you have, it's just not seeing eye to eye because of me having my ways. And, you might have bad ways. You may, quote unquote, be an asshole, you know what I'm saying? And you push people away from you, you know what I'm saying? And then it can be, reflected off on the children or whatever. Parents, don't be hesitant to look yourself in the mirror. See if you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? That includes me. You know what I'm saying? Am I off? Am I tripping? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Let me revisit my stuff and see how I'm talking to them, see how I'm doing things. You know what I mean? And overall, that's going to help you in turn to be a much better parent, okay? The kids will respect you a lot more, all right? And overall, it's just going to be a better situation. Because if you checked yourself, you got yourself in order. Now you go to check them, okay? Hopefully they listen. I will say this. Most kids, if you check them, in the early onset of things, yes, they may listen. They may drift off. They may listen for a few days. Just to kind of get you off their back, man. I can't do so. So my mom's and them is tripping, dog. We just fall back for a couple of days, you know what I'm saying? We get back in the mix. That's what they do, you know what I'm saying? And, everything, oh, he's great, everything's cool, and then it's back to normal again and all that. And then you come back to that same situation again. So you got to do what you got to do to keep them wanting to do the right things, you know what I'm saying? They might not always want to do the right things, you know what I'm saying? So what you got to do as a parent is make them do what you want them to do, but make it in a place where it's not bad, you know what I'm saying? It's not in an area where it's just like, you force them to do something, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it should be open to doing it, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, it's not a punishment to do what mom and dad want me to do. It may not be that bad after all. You know what I'm saying? They cut me some slack. I cut them some slack. You got to understand, kids is getting older. As they get older, they want to do more. They want to do different things or whatever. I respect that. So continue to do so, all right? Continue to do what needs to be done as a parent, you know what I mean? And listen, if you're doing everything, you're crossing your T's and you're dotting your I's with your children, everything should work out. Everything truly should work out. It definitely should work out. And if it don't, listen, ain't nothing wrong with getting on your hands and knees. I believe in the power of prayer. Get on your hands and knees and talk to the Almighty and, just watch your situation change. All right. So, I'm going to give you part 3 of this, which is the conclusion, and I'll have you on your merry way. All right. So I'll be back right after this. All right. So in conclusion, basically what I want to say is this. Raising children are not the easiest things to do in this life. It doesn't come with a handbook. It doesn't come with a manual. And even if it did, every child is different. So your experience may vary, you know what I'm saying, as they always say. So you may be a great person, you know what I'm saying? You got with a great dude, you know what I mean? And overall, your child might just end up being, devil spawn or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but I just feel like some of these kids, at the end of the day, come to challenge us. I mean, God knows, he knows all and he sees all, right? So he knows what we need, what we don't need, how we need to do it, how we don't need to do it. How we should raise these children, and some of the things that we need to as adults, shape us. I can remember a time where I had my first child, right? And, I got my kid's mom, my current kid's mom, and, we hung out, we was doing this, doing that, we was having a good old time, but we always argued. Me and my kid's mom always argued when I was younger. It was like in our 20s, we always was arguing. She wanted her way, I wanted my way. She wanted her way, I wanted my way. Women always want their way, right? So to make a long story short, she ended up getting pregnant, right? And I was totally in denial. I was just like, nope, she ain't pregnant and I ain't having it. It's a wrap. Forget about it. One thing leads to another. Next thing you know, she sweet talks me and then we try again and voila, she's definitely pregnant. So now it's like, okay, I'm forever linked to this chick. At that time, you're not thinking about that. All I'm thinking about is like taking care of the kids, what I'm going to do, you know what I'm saying, where I'm going to get the money for this, where I'm going to get the money for that. And, just worrying about like the behavior and all that kind of stuff. That was the last thing on my mind. I was worried about taking care of the child. So, things progressed, you know what I'm saying. I had a decent job at the time. So I was able to, maneuver through that trial and kind of like take care of my kid and do what I need to do. And, like I said before, the previous point where we was arguing and fighting and, I ended up arguing with mom and, child support hit, you know what I'm saying? She put me on child support, right? And I was always taking care of my kid. I never really was a dad that I wasn't taking care of my child. My children know that, okay? Their mom even know that, okay? She says it to this day, you know what I'm saying? So, it was a far cry than where we were before as to where we are now. Far cry, okay? So, I had to deal with that. Now, in that particular situation, most men gonna be like, deuces, I'm out. You're gonna argue with me, you're gonna fight with me, you're gonna get with me and all that kind of stuff. And on top of that, you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong for every single thing I do. Like, I can't be wrong 100% of the time. I was only wrong 100% of the time because that's not what she wanted me to do, okay? So therefore, if she wanted to do it, I was right. It was cool. Everything was perfect. But if she didn't want to do it, then I was totally wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure a lot of you men out there, kind of felt that and dealt with that, in your own personal relationships. You know what I mean? But that right there was a breaking point for me to the point where, are you going to stay or are you going to go? Right? So, because I was young, I was pissed. I knew I wasn't going to leave my kids, but it was just like, I just wanted I just wanted to go. You know what I mean? And we argued, obviously, and then I ended up just saying, you know what? I'm going to ride this out. And I had a talk with a guy, one of the guys I used to work with when I was working at Pepsi. I would say his name. I don't really want to say his name. You know what I'm saying? Older gentleman. You know what I'm saying? And, I'll just say GM. Okay. He came up. He was like, "Yo, bro." He said, "I know you upset. I know you mad, but that's your baby girl." You know what I'm saying? You gotta hold it down, dog. You gotta hold it down. White guy. And I thought about it. Thought about it. I said, "You're right. I do gotta hold it down." That's hard. That's a hard decision. Yeah. So, so basically, I made that situation work out for me. You know what I mean? I stayed with my daughter, obviously. You know what I mean? No intent of leaving. It was a stressful situation that I had to deal with. But, I mean, you learn as you go along, right? Parenting is not always the easiest thing to do. Like I said, many times, okay? And my first daughter, we had to learn. Me and Mom had to learn from the bumps and the bruises, the ups and the downs, the ins and the outs, and everything in between. Okay, so my daughter ended up turning out to be a pretty good young lady. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we did an excellent job with her, and she's kind of like on her own, doing her own thing. You know what I mean? Being very responsible. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while she makes mistakes, but your kids are going to make mistakes. You know what I mean? They go from growing to being under your care to now you throwing them in the world to learn on their own, and they gotta learn their own. They gotta learn their own way. So we just gave you the basic guidelines of what to do. Got you to that point, you know what I'm saying? And basically let her know, like, look, we got your back. We got your back. Don't worry about it. Had a second daughter, and it's kind of touch and go because, like I said, when you're not with your kid's mom and you move on and she not with you, she doing her thing, you doing your thing. As parents, it's tough. Kids is not going to be respectful because they're going to look at your situation and judge. Unfairly judge at times, you know what I'm saying? But they're not in that situation to be able to give a clear assessment of what's going on. So, it's like you can say all what you want to say, but you don't really know what's going on. So, it's an unfortunate thing because, kids are mean these days, you know what I mean? Like, they're very, 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 very mean. And, I mean, trying to make moves and do what you need to do and still be, relevant, you know what I mean? Keep, your friend life and hang out with your family and, things of that nature. So, it's tough. It's tough. It's not always easy to do, you know what I'm saying? And, she allowed us to be parents. We allow her to be a child, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you gotta allow your children to be children, not to rush them to grow older, okay? And, just sit back and learn from what she's done over the course of life. So, I got a second child, you know what I'm saying? And, she grew up and she's amazing as well. I'm one of the luckiest dudes on the planet to have the two girls that I have. I'm able to, just sit there and just do what I need to do, however I need to do it. And everything is all good. So, I'm grateful, thankful for both of my children. And I'm glad I didn't give up on them, and I'm glad they didn't give up on me. You know what I'm saying? And that's another aspect of it. Y'all need to understand, you don't want your kids to give up on you. You don't want your kids to stop and just be like, man, you suck, man, I can't stand you anymore. Once they throw on the towel, it's kind of hard to get them back, you know what I'm saying? So, parents, if you're out there struggling with a son or a daughter that's giving you a hard time, try to meet each other, meet them where the kid is at, you know what I mean? Meet them in the middle, you know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do to get back on that track and, keep it moving, you know what I'm saying? So, it's tough. It's real tough, but it's necessary for you to stand in there, and if these kids is worth it, in your opinion, because they are your children, if you feel like they're worth it, then you feel like, they go on and keep rocking out with them. Keep doing what you need to do. keep standing in the gap, keep making moves, and making sure that, you know, everything is working out for them and everything is happening for them. And it may not happen when you want it to happen, but it's going to happen in due time. Don't be afraid to get on your hands and knees and ask God to help. That's what He's there for. You know what I'm saying? He ain't going to put us in a situation where we can't handle it. You know what I mean? So, you know, do that, and, you know, everything else will fall, you know, the chips will fall where they may. So that's the end of the video, y'all. So if you like what you've heard, please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the like button as well to bring more awesome, loving, and wonderful people over. Similar to yourself, on my normal subscribers, thanks for coming back. On my new subscribers, welcome. Welcome to AB's Point of View. Do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. It pushes these videos out to prospective viewers, people like yourself that need the help, that want to get the help, that's going to do whatever they got to do for their kids and work everything out, and, you know, just make the most of every single situation, okay? Never giving up. Never, ever giving up. You know what I'm saying? So if you're that type of person, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Come join the family, okay? We're on the road to 100K, so that will definitely help. And we'll get there this year. We'll get to 100K this year, thanks to you guys. You know, share the video with all your family members and friends. Put them on all your socials. And, you know, lead someone over to, hey, look, I know somebody with some bad kids, this and that there. Hey, listen, check this video out. This guy really knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Go and do that, and that'll help you out in the long run. Come visit me on my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, YouTube Shorts, Facebook, all my socials, you know, listed right there. And, you know, come give me a shout, come give me a holla, and become a fan of AG's. Visit the merch store. Go grab yourself a t-shirt or hoodie, you know what I'm saying? You know, represent the channel the best way you know how to. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I love every single one of y'all. Remember, do not give up on these kids, no matter what the situation look like, okay? Don't be a fool either, but don't give up on these kids, all right? I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
Casinos, I gotta get to the bag now. I can't be chasing on these. They getting they feeling and dragged down. That's why they just crash out. Stuck in the cell and it's man down. Life getting gone in a flash now. Spinning and I'ma stand out. I done seen these crash out. They some baby boys. I'm the man now. They was questioning. Make them fans now. I'm the best in my league and that's hands down.